Welcome back, family. This is Phil with the Marriage Promise Journey YouTube channel, and got a word today. God is looking for people He can trust. God is looking for people He can trust. And before we get into the word, I'd like to thank all our subscribers and all the viewers, and appreciate all your comments, your emails, your likes and shares. Yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. You're in my prayers. I'm standing with you for your promise, your marriage promise, whatever it is. You're on your chosen one's journey or marriage promise journey. We're standing together in faith with you, and hopefully this channel is a strength and can give you some, some wisdom from practical experience out of my life. But anyway. Yeah, so this word is God is looking for people He could trust. And above that, God is looking for people that really, really, really trust Him. And I was challenged recently in my faith and trusting in the Lord. I've been making the moves as best I can since He's commissioned me to this this journey. I accepted the covenant promise, and He's commissioned me to do a number of things, resurrect some old projects, and launch out into some new areas like this YouTube channel and different technology areas. And I've tried to be faithful and do it as best as I can. All while, I'm still working a regular 9 to 5. And, but I'm getting to the point where, it's my age. I can, I qualify for, SSI. And, but, I recently had surgery, and I knew I was going to be out of work for, for a few days at least anyway. And the SSI system, the retirement plan that they've set up, it's not enough to, you have to have other investments or other things that you're doing to to get by in the economy today. But I had timed my my benefits to that I would be qualified this month of October here, because I already knew I was going to be out of work, recovering from surgery. And but the enemy will come to you with opportunities that sound good and look good to try to get you to cross over a line. And God needs people with integrity, and because these things can come back to haunt you, to come back and trip you up, come back and delay your purpose or abort your purpose, sabotage your purpose. So these are tests that we have to pass. And I was definitely challenged in this area, because you have to make a certain amount and you can't go over to qualify. So basically they they want to keep you broke. And it seems like if you reach a certain age, which they keep moving it up since I've been in the system. It started out at 62, I think, and you can get your full benefits. Now they moved that to 67. So I think they've moved that 3 or 4 times during my lifetime while I've been working and paying into the system. But so I'm in a transitional period, and I need to get this situated so that I free up some time to work on my calling, that and this commissioning that God has given me. And I try to obey the Lord with everything that He shows me, and but always want to give the Lord my best. I want to be my best when I do something for Him. And you know, like making these videos, my job is very physical, and I don't always feel like I'm on top, or you know, that I feel my best, you know, when I'm doing. But I obey the Lord, whether in season or out of season, and you know, and I want to give my best for you guys too, you know, and be able to articulate what the Lord is doing in my life, or you know, get across the point that He's given for me to share. And but yeah, so I'm crossing over into my next life, you know. I call it the next 40 years of productivity. You know, my first 46 years of well, more than that. I'd have to figure it out. Anyway, the first 40 some odd years of productivity were sown into, you know, raising a family and stuff along those lines. But now, you know, I'm crossing over into my second life, my double portion, and I have to approach it like, you know, I do have time to get things done, and God's given me this opportunity. But yeah, but I have my hope set that I would be able to, you know, hit this month, be my first qualifying month, and get my check next month. And I mean, as it looks now, I'm not saying that's you know, too late for a miracle, and I want a miracle. I need a miracle to do more, to work on this calling and assignment that God's commissioned me to. But you know, if not, you know, I'm not going to compromise myself. And you know, the enemy, and I really have my heart set on this happening. And it was disappointed when all the elements and components didn't come together that was going to make this happen. So I'm not saying it still can't happen. I'm just saying it don't look like it's going to happen at this time. So it might be a few months delay. I don't know. I really don't have a clue, but it's something. It's on the top of my list. It's a priority that I need to move into this so I can be more productive and work on other areas that He's called me to work on. But yeah, the enemy will come, and the pressures of life will come, and your circumstances and your desire to please God, all of that. And the enemy will come with, oh, it's a good reason, you know, compromise, you know, take this shortcut, take this easy money, take this, you know. And I know that many of you are being faced with situations like this, because if you weren't, I wouldn't be giving this word, right? yeah, God has me giving this word that you can trust God, and the things that you count on, you know, it's not the end of the world if things don't happen on your timeline, right? We need to pace ourselves to serve the Lord. And, you know, I've waited for a long time for many things, you know, in my journey. And so I can wait a little longer, but I kind of like identify with Joseph when he was in the prison, and the butler and the you know, the wine taster, the cup holder, Pharaoh's cup holder, they the chief chef, they got their word, and Joseph was attending to them, these officers of Pharaoh, and he gave them their prophetic words. He interpreted their dreams. And you know, so Joseph probably had his hopes up as he delivered these words, and he told them, he said, you know, now when this comes to pass, you know, he's telling the cupbearer to, you know, make sure mention me to Pharaoh. So he was probably got his hopes up that things were happening. But as it turned out, it was more than 2 years later. And so he had to wait 2 more years on top of, probably already being, sold as a slave and in prison a total of at least 10 years at this point. And so he finds out he don't find out, he just ends up waiting 2 more years till God moved and gave Pharaoh the dream. And of course he was given the opportunity to interpret. But man, when it looked like, it slipped through his hand, my opportunity to get out. Nobody, I'm using my gift for you, Lord, and I can't get any help here. I can't get anybody to give a good word for me, put in a good word for me. And so I'm sure as time wore on, he felt like another opportunity was slipping through his fingers. And that's kind of like how I felt the past couple weeks. And then the enemy is coming along, take shortcuts, do something dishonest, and the scripture talks about don't take bribes, don't be a false witness, don't steal, don't cheat on your taxes, all these things, because Satan is watching you too, and he's cataloging opportunities because he's looking to lay a trap for you. And he wants you to think that, oh, you're protected, you're God's favorite, nothing's going to happen to you. Go ahead, take this shortcut, And you think about Abraham and Sarah, he took a concubine, Sarah's, handmaid. He took a concubine, and they're trying to take a shortcut, trying to do it in their own strength, trying to figure it out, plan and scheme and dream. And at that point, they felt all the pressure was on them to make something happen. And I kind of felt like, gosh. But it didn't sit right in my heart, so I took it to the Lord in prayer and got the victory over it. And just give it to the Lord. Lord, I'm here, and whenever this works out, I know that you want me busy for you, and you've given me a lot of assignments, in this commission. And I'm not going to let the pressure, get to me to cause me to compromise. And so I just want to encourage you, saints, that you can trust the Lord. And when I accepted this marriage promise, I wasn't really I wasn't looking for a relationship at all, but the Lord come to me with this proposal and I accepted. But at that point, I was prepared to finish my days, and I didn't know that he had female companion in mind, that I would indeed get married to my God ordained. But I know it's going to happen. And but I can still retain the mindset that I can go this alone. And before this marriage promise come along, I had been alone for 10 years. So I can just switch into that mindset that I can endure to the end. So there's many tests along the way, and endurance is a test, trust is a test. You have to trust the Lord. You have to pass the test so that, God can trust you and that you know what you're made of. A lot of the testing is so that you know who you are, where you stand, what your character content is. And so if you're presented with a compromising situation or something, the enemy has people watching you, and they want to cast a snare and to be able to say something against your walk, to tarnish your testimony. And just be encouraged, saints, that don't take the bait, don't take the shortcut. You know, if you have a check in your spirit, you know, yes, listen to that, pay attention to that check in your spirit. Something's not bearing witness, something's not lining up. You know, listen and be sensitive and follow and trust God, that God is not in a hurry. God is not. The enemy wants you to be in a hurry. The enemy wants to force your hand so that you take matters into your own hands and that you feel the pressure to make something happen. Don't. It's not the Lord. Because if something is meant for you and you miss it, or you wasn't in position the first time around, it'll come back around. Yeah, it will orbit you. It will not be able to leave your orbit. It will come back around again. You will have another opportunity to get what God has chosen for you, to get what God has ordained for you. Yes, saints. Don't feel pressured. Don't give in. Yet obey. You know, if something's not bearing witness with your spirit, don't feel pressured. You know, that's how many scams, you know, many online scams, many banking scams, there's pressure, and on the surface it looks like a good thing to do. It's for a good cause. Yeah, don't compromise. Don't fall for it, saints. I love you guys, and yeah, so I wanted to share this with you guys, and I just wanted you to know that I care about you, and that's why I do the channel. That's why, you know, I put myself out there, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, God bless you, saints. Love you all.